Right, look who we've got.
Alright, everybody.
Back together since when, Stephen?
We're going to hang out.
There's a few players I'd
Watch
like
a movie.
to talk about.
It's first time this year.
First time this year. Jesus, it's been a long time.
Fucking been longer for some of us.
Ah, you know. Oh, God. But anyway, I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you very much, mate. It's good to be back.
Right, everybody, there's a few things we're going to be talking about nonetheless. And anyway, obviously, we've got Boro on Sunday. But first things first, the score predictions, is we've got your names written down. I'm not going to mention them because there's absolutely tons. We're going to be mentioning the winner on the FA Cup game against Fulham on a live stream. We'll probably be doing it. So half time on there, we'll pick the winner out that like we did for the Sunderland shirt.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add, Stephen?
Stuff to mention, obviously, before the game. Before we get on to the match preview. I'm sure all of you are aware on social media it's been put out quite well. Fletcher Jackson, 21-year-old Sunderland fan, tragically lost his life earlier this year. Season ticket holder, massive Sunderland fan, on the 21st minute against Middlesbrough on Sunday. There's going to be a round of applause for a minute, as we do with them, because we all stick together and we like to show our respects. So Sunderland fans and Middlesbrough fans will probably join in and show our respect to Fletcher Jackson.
Right, Stephen.
Transfers. Transfer news.
On
my video I did the other day, I said that Ecuador was going to be done and dusted, and you'd see a picture of him on that night. We still haven't seen it, so I don't know what's going on in that. It was announced that it was done deal, and we were just waiting to see the picture. Nothing's happened on that yet. I also mentioned about Joe Geldhard from Leeds. It now looks as though he's tipped to go to Wigan, which loads of people are saying it's a shock, and why is he doing it? I mean, he's been to Wigan before, so he knows the club. He's familiar with the club, and to him, he knows he's always going to go back to Leeds. It's not a case of getting a loan with the option to buy.
Exactly.
He's been playing for Leeds this season. He got an assist the other night in the FA Cup match against Cardiff when he came off the bench. If he chooses to go to Wigan, that's his choice.
All right.
But it's like to say, some people are saying it's because he'll get more game time. But Wigan have got 4 or 5 strikers already.
Exactly.
We've only got one. But it's by the by. Nothing's been announced yet. You know what all media is like. They're all full of crap. They just say things to make it clickbait and things like that.
Oh, definitely.
So until you see it, categorically on Sky Sports News, or you see someone wearing a shirt, there's nothing finalised until then.
Quickly on that, there's another one, Stephen, and all. Isaac. I forgot
Lahaji.
I didn't want to say it because I knew I'd butcher it.
Isaac Lahaji.
Quickly on him, he's meant to be Ahmad's replacement. The president of PSG have said that he is probably the best French 20-year-old in that position when he's playing. That's coming from the PSG president, I think it was. So
of course, he could be just saying that to sell him.
No, well, he's a little player at the minute, isn't he?
Oh yes, he is.
He's a little player.
Yeah.
And also, he's previously played for Dreyfus's club, Marseille.
Yes,
It's funny how we're going down that French route, isn't it?
Very well. I mean, I'm happy with the ones we've got so far.
To be honest, Speakman, I'm going to give him credit again. Look what he's digging with this Isaac. He's thinking about the future.
Of course he is.
If that gives him, if we get him in this window, that'll give us 4 months to bed him in for when Ahmad does leave. Because of him, mate, it's inevitable he's gone.
But also, no one's categorically come out from the club and said that this is why we're signing him, or this is why we're looking to sign him.
Oh, right.
That's just someone who's put on that. That's their thoughts behind it. Mm-hmm. He's a winger, but can also play as a forward. So if we do, he could be used as another striker. Right. So if we get him in through the door and then we get another striker through the door, that could be the 3 strikers that we'll push forward the season. Be interesting to see how it pans out. But like we say, until we see the photos with the shirt on and the scarf, we can't really get too carried away about it.
Right, quickly on the transfer window, it's Sunderland where again we're really slow. We haven't brought anyone in yet. There's, like you say, there's potential rumours about Bailey Wright gone to Hibs.
Aberdeen.
Shall I say Hibs linked obviously with Lee Johnson being in there. We're starting this window really slow, and Mowbray has said that it could go down to deadline day.
But it will. I was involved with it. Well, not involved, but there was somebody put. Everyone's different. Somebody put a post on. Oh my God, can't believe we haven't signed anyone yet. Oh, what's going on? Same old. I'm sick of this. It's the January transfer window especially. Most transfers don't happen until the last week, because we want, like, every club will want certain players from other clubs, but them clubs will want to keep all of them until they've got a replacement in place. They've got someone else to fill in for them, or they've got something else set up. They keep all of them as long as they can. And it's always been the case. It's not just Sunderland, it's everybody. The only people who've done signings really is the likes of bloody Chelsea spent 100 million on that bloody whatever his fucking name
They
is.
spent nearly 500 million since the summer.
Well, exactly, you know what I mean?
Madman. Mad.
Sunderland will make signings. I reckon they'll still make between 4 and 6 signings, but I don't think many of them will happen, or the majority of them will happen in the last week, if not the last couple of days.
To be honest, we've got to trust a Speakman's approach as well.
Exactly, I do.
Like Mowbray said, he's the burning the midnight oil,
Yeah.
meaning he's in the office all day, all night. And I'm really excited to see that Pierre Ekwa and Isaac Lahaji. Just reading off what they're gone from.
Yeah.
And I listened to Roker Report, and Gav was saying on there that it reminds them a bit of Patrick Roberts regarding that, our players they should be doing better than what they are in their career. They might have took the wrong path and they want to try and ignite their career before it does fizzle out. And I'm seeing that he's only 20-year-old. So, we've got to just have a bit of patience. We're going to go and try and find... Imagine if we'd just done what we've done in previous years. Sign mediocre shit like Will Grigg and Jack Rodwell and money. People who just after one last period. I don't like Danny Graham as well. There's another one.
Danny Graham, to be fair to Danny Graham, I mean...
he did want it to work.
He wanted to work, but it didn't. I've seen an interview of him and he was gutted that it never panned out the way he wanted it to. But
that's why I hesitated.
The new mould of our club is bringing in young players for the future.
Exactly.
Mowbray's press conference today, although he didn't give much away for the game, me and him have been waiting for that press conference before we did the match preview, and he gave us nout. So cheers, Tony. But one thing he did say was about the transfers was, if he's still sitting there in 18 months' time, that's when you should be looking at Sunderland having a squad good enough to be challenging at the top end of this table. He says at the minute, we're just taking every game as it comes, hoping for the 3 points, doing what they can, and just basically enjoying the ride at the minute. We know our aim is to stay up this season. Right. Obviously, you aim for as high as you can. But the main club's aim was to stay up and establish ourselves. And then that's why we're buying young lads for the future. So we bring young lads in, and then within 18 months' time, they've got 18 months of playing alongside each other. Some of them have had longer. And then by then we're a well-established team that could be battling up the top end of the table.
It's plenty of time to progress. Like me and you said at the beginning of this season, we just want to consolidate in the Championship. And we said 10th. I remember it was on a video.
I said I'd be happy finishing one place above relegation. And if we finish mid-table, I class it as a successful season.
Of course you do.
But at the same time, I've still got my hotel booked for the playoff final.
That's what I'm
just in case.
But that's what I'm saying. I can understand where fans are coming from within sniffing distance of the top 6. So I can understand why the people's getting a bit restless regarding the January transfer window. We want to make a few extra signings to try and push on, because fans and supporters can see the quality of what's on the pitch, and we're only a few signings short, so I can see where they're coming from.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Right, Stephen, we'll crack on with Middlesbrough on Sunday, 12 o'clock. Disgraceful kick-off as well, may I add.
It's to stop people drinking much, but all the pubs have done is just said they're going to open earlier.
And it'll not stop anyone, though, will it really?
Well, it's not. I'd like to say it's never. I mean, I've been to a few Sunderland Borough games and Borough Sunderland games where it has been quite feisty.
Aye.
But that was like more back in the time. I remember once I was stuck on the Millennium Way Bridge, just over the Wheatsheaf, and we were getting me and my mate. I think I was 16 at the time. Me and my mate get at the front. We're getting pushed forward by everyone behind us. The police are in front of us, whacking us to death with their coshes. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" I went, "Stop pushing." I was like, "There's so many people behind us pushing us, and get back and whacking us with a cosh." I was like,
they used to get supporters together, didn't they, back then?
We had this discussion, didn't we? For me, it's not a derby. To me, it's not a derby.
What I'm going to say is, for me, I agree, but listen, it's not a derby. People were saying it's a derby, but not the derby, which I understand where they come from. I seen somebody on Twitter say, "I've got loads of Middlesbrough mates. I support Sunderland, so for me, it is a derby." And I get where they're coming from, but for me personally, I didn't get as excited as I did for the Newcastle game, where we were talking and we were saying for about a week, we kind of stopped thinking about it. We're getting excited, nervous, your belly's gone. You didn't get that same feeling with.
No.
And to be honest, that could go against us, because Middlesbrough supporters did get up for it. Their players did get hyped up for it. And in recent years, I think in the last 5 meetings, they've won 4 and we've only managed to get 1 draw out of them in the last 5. So Mowbray, we're coming from Middlesbrough. I feel as if he'll try and push that onto the players that you need to get up for this game more.
Well, Carrick will be pushing out the Middlesbrough players, because Carrick's a black and white bastard. Excuse me, French. But he'll be pushing it on them. He wants to beat them. He wants to beat us just for being a Geordie, and he wants obviously Middlesbrough to beat them because he's there. he's obviously the Middlesbrough manager. But overall, here's some stats for you, Paul. I know you've missed the stats.
I know, I love a stat, I wouldn't.
In the history of the Sunderland-Middlesbrough game, Sunderland have won 61 games, Middlesbrough have only won 49 games, and we've drew 38 of them.
Which means jack shit come
Absolutely nothing. But I just thought I'd let you know.
Alright, is there any more stats you want to knock out?
Well, Middlesbrough are the third highest scorers in the league. They've scored 42 goals this season, and we are the fourth highest scorers in the league. We've got 39. They've conceded 33, and we've only conceded 32. So it's pretty even the way it is. However, as you know, since Carrick's got the job, he's got them playing very well. They've only lost one game, one league game in the last 10 games, and that was against Burnley, who's top of the league. But they've scored in every game they've played since Carrick became their manager.
That's one thing you've got to give credit where credit's due. Carrick, he learned from the best.
Yes.
Sir Alex Ferguson, and he's obviously took stuff on board because he's took that strike into the.
You'd be foolish not to.
Of course you would. He's took that strike in the Middlesbrough team, and it's starting to work. They went off to a bad start, and then boom, they're flying. Like I say, they're fourth in the league, they're third in the league for form.
They've won 12, drew 6, lost 9 this season, and the most of their games they've lost were early on in the season, which is obviously the reason why Chris Wilder got replaced.
So, like we were saying, he's turned it around for them, and they're on it. Like Mowbray said as well in his press conference, they're on an upward trajectory.
Yeah,
and you can see that clearly. They've got some really good players in this squad. But the one thing what I'm clinging on to, they've only kept 2 clean sheets in 10 games.
Well, look, I know I've just said there that they've scored in the last 10 league games. They've scored in every game since Carrick's been there. But we've scored in our last 9 games. Every game in our last 9 games. And, you know what I mean? So I think there's going to be goals on both teams.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
It's going to be a high-scoring game, that nonetheless. I'll wait and we'll do our score predictions a bit later, but it's going to be a high-scoring game nonetheless. But anyway, they did get beat 5-1 in the Cup of Brighton, and I thought to myself, right, you know, that might knock the confidence going at the league. No, quick turnaround. They went and beat Millwall 1-0, and I thought, you know what I mean? But like I say, the form they're on at the minute, they've won the last 4 in the league in a row. So it's going to be a hard game come Sunday.
Oh, of course it is. Like I said, they're a team on form. They're flying high up in the league again at the minute. And like I say, credit where credit's due, like Paul said. Carrick's got to play good football. They're coming to the stadium. They're going to be up for it. Hopefully we're up for it. And you want to see a good game, but obviously you want to see the 3 points come to us and not go back down to them.
Definitely. Right, players to watch. There's quite a few.
There is quite a few, to be fair.
I'll kick them off, then you can crack one after. Matt Crooks, he's got 6 goals, 4 assists. The thing is, I'm sure he's a midfielder, but he's been doing a job up top. And if that's the case, he's been doing outstanding to get 6 and 4 assists. Another one you want to mention, Steve?
Well, you've got the obvious one. You've got Chuba Akpom. Right. He's got 13 goals this season and 1 assist. He's the league's top goal scorer at the moment. We know he's a threat. He's banging them in for fun. He scored, what was that? I think he scored in the last 6 games in a row or something under Michael Carrick. Oh no, he's 13 goals, but he scored 9 of them since Michael Carrick became the manager. Right. So he's flying at the minute for them. And then you've got your brother,
Ryan Giles.
He's not really his brother.
No.
But he has got a brother called Ryan Giles.
He's got 7 assists. He hasn't got any goals, but that's not the problem there. Against us, when we played just at the Riverside, he was bombing down that wing constantly. He was a threat. He was a thorn in our side, as they would say.
Definitely. Well, he's currently the top assist man so far this season. So they've got the top scorer and the top assist man in the league so far this season. And
with our defence running thin, as Mowbray said, 09 being injured, red carded, sorry, Barton come striking for me. But Gooch, he had a nightmare against Swansea.
Yeah.
And I just feel as if Ryan Giles is on his game, Gooch is going to have a torrid time coming up against him.
Yeah, well, you've also got Marcus Force. He's been playing well. He's got 5 goals and 3 assists. He's one to watch. He's been doing well. They've all been doing well since Carrick's come in, which is proofs in the pudding when you say, "Oh, father, he took over them and they were in the bottom 3, and now they're up there." There's also another player who I remember off the time I played them down their place, and he tore us apart down the wing, and he was a wing back, Isaiah Jones. He was absolute. I've got down here. He was fast as hell because he tortured us. I think he got man of the match that game. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists from a wing back position, so he's definitely one to watch. But I believe he plays on the left, which means that Hume should be the one who's marking him, and Hume's fast and he's been playing really well since he come in. Like I say, Mowbray didn't give away for injuries and things like that.
I tell you one thing he did do though, he absolutely praised Middlesbrough. Obviously he's a Middlesbrough lad, you know what I mean? He says he wants them to do well, which we can all understand, but you know what I mean?
But we're doing the same. We're sitting here praising them because you've got to give them. You cannot not that they're doing a good job. Carrick's got them playing well and they're doing a good job and they're playing really well as a team at the moment, and that's something that can't be taken lightly.
No, they're playing really well. But another one, few ex-Sunderland players, we may as well give them a mention. Duncan Watmore, he was loved by Sunderland. He plagued with injuries. Under Carrick, he's been used as a sub. I think he's got, 4 goals? 5 goals. That's what it was. So, you know, he can always be a threat. We used to call him the Roadrunner as soon as he gets on. He was away. And Paddy McNair, he plays centre-back now, funny enough.
Well, he was a centre-back or midfielder when we had him. So he's always played in them positions.
Right.
Or a central defensive midfielder.
The formation, they play more or less the same formation as what we do. 2 holding midfielders, 3 in attack with 1 striker up top. But then I'm seeing Matt Crooks, I'm sure he's a midfielder, but I've been playing him there.
Yeah, well, I don't know what we're going to go with this because, let's say, Mowbray give nothing away, as we've said.
Right.
But we've heard that, we've both heard that Elise and Serkin could be in contention. Now, both of them can play left back. So is he going to go 4 at the back or 3 at the back? Is he going to have Elise in the back 3 with Bart and Wright? Bart and Ballard, Or is he going to put Wright in there to have a back 3? Or is he going to play a back 4 with Humour at the right, Bart and Ballard in the middle? And personally, I don't have Elise's fit. I'd have one of them left back and not Gooch after the performance last week.
Do you know what?
Nothing against Gooch, I just don't think he's ready to come back.
I really like Gooch, and we've been a fan of him. Before his injury, he was mint playing there.
Yeah.
And then that injury, I don't know if it was too soon for him coming, just getting Tosh strike in, but I think...
also it was a tough game to come back with O'Neill getting sent off.
Exactly.
We're getting overrun, and that was happening. So maybe it's not a fair judgment. But personally, I don't think he should have come straight back in the team anyway. No. But yeah, Gooch shouldn't have come back straight back in the team for me. He did put him in. It didn't work. So for me, if there is chance of having Elise or Serkin, they would go back in the team for me.
I'd say another thing, Stephen, Mitchell's played well against Shrewsbury. You had Barr, who looked exciting when he was picking the ball up, getting forward. So for me, looking at the lineups or the formation, I didn't think we would guess it in a million years. The reason why I didn't think Bailey Wright will be just because of the rumours linking him away from the club. I didn't think he'll start him if that's true. If not, then I agree with you.
If we go 3 at the back, I do believe that it'll be Wright, Bart and Ballard.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
But like you see, you never know what Tony Mowbray's going to do.
You did it. That's the thing. I'm not even going to try and guess.
And with the centre midfielders, we've got 4 that have been doing well. You've got Evans and Neil. Mm-hmm. But then you've got Barr and Michu. I like Barr and I like Michu.
Same.
I like Neil. and I like Corey Evans. But what do you want to go for against a young Middlesbrough team? Do you want to go more attacking? If you go more attacking, for me, you've got to have the likes of Barr in. Because Barr gets the ball and drives forward. Or you're going to have Corey Evans to try and settle things down in the middle of the park. It's a tough decision for Tony Mowbray to make because both teams are going to be going for it. But if you want to go more attacking, then for me, Corey Evans will sit out and Barr or Mitchell will go in. Mm-hmm. And Dan Neil will definitely be playing, regardless of that.
See, that's the thing. Middlesbrough play, they're set up similar to us and they play a similar style to us. So it's going to be a very open game, like you've just been saying there. Yeah. And so that could suit Sunderland down to the ground. If they're going to come at us and try and we can get...
It could be a part of the counter-attack.
We can exploit that space.
They've got pace, we've got pace.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be interesting. Hopefully it'll be a good game to watch. But like we said before, hopefully we'll come on time.
So with that, Stephen, score predictions. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'm playing safe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing safe. I do think both teams are going to score goals. And I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
Oh, 2-2 draw. I wouldn't argue with that. Listen, my heart says 3-1 to Sunderland, and my head does. I was going to go for that, the same as a draw, but I would have said a 1-1 draw. I'm going to let my heart rule my head, even though you shouldn't, and say Sunderland to win this one. I'm going to go actually 2-1. I've changed that the last second. I changed it the last second. I'm being a bit of a coward there, and I went 2-1 rather than 3-1.
Look, this is what I hope he wins. I hope you get it right. I want Sunderland to win. Obviously, I just do believe that with the way both teams are playing. I think that both teams got goals in them, but I think it's going to be a draw. 2-2, that's what I'm going for.
Well, that's about it, Stephen. Quickly, if you want to watch us on the live stream for the FA Cup, we'll be picking the draw out there. So,
and lastly, before we finish off, one of my veteran pals, Steve Bob Hope, his grandson Cameron Hope, I know he watches us, So here's a shout out for you, mate. All right, mate.
All right, Cameron.
Thanks for watching us, and I'll see you. Might maybe see you at the match. But Paul,
That's it. Hit the thumbs up.
subscribe if you're new. We're the lads.
Yo guys, what's going on? This video is for Giles and Steve. I did actually get the name right this time. Apologies for obviously pronouncing your name wrong earlier on inside the season. Of course, our other match preview down the other side. But of course, this one, staying in my life Sunday, I managed to get myself a ticket. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I cannot wait. It's always a close affair though, Boro versus Sunderland. Is it a derby? Is it not a derby? That question always comes up. It is a rivalry in my opinion. Is it a derby? Is it not? I'm not too sure, but I think in terms of rivalry, I think it definitely is. Sunderland, of course, without Luke O'Nien, massive loss for them at the back. That defender for them is absolutely key. He's an absolute solid rock. Him missing might give True Blackpool a bit more lease for life. Might give Force a bit more option as well. So listen, we'll wait and see what happens Sunday. Am I confident? Am I not? I'm slightly confident going into it, given our form. Don't get me wrong, Sunderland's had some alright form, but of course, you know, they've obviously gone back down to 10th position inside the league. And of course, we're within that top 6 gap. Our next 2 games are massive though, Sunderland and Watford. If we can get something out of both of them, we'd be absolutely flying still. And hopefully chasing our way to automatic promotion places. My prediction for this one, I'm going to go with a tight game. Boro 1, Sunderland 0. Although it could end 1-1. We'll settle for a point. Probably would, to be fair. But listen, I love 3 points. So I'll go Boro 1, Sunderland 0. Best of luck though, may the best team win. Nice one lads for having me on.